Hey guys, so one thing that I want to talk about today is some of the ways to recognize emotional abuse, because when you are in the middle of an emotionally abusive relationship, it can actually be really hard sometimes to recognize what's going on. A punch in the face is really easy to recognize, right? But emotionally abusive tactics are usually really subtle. And we're used to bad guys that are one-dimensional. They're just all bad. Emotional abuse, any kind of abuse, obviously is evil. But generally we are with a person who isn't just straight up 100% evil. And that makes it a lot harder to recognize what's going on. So for those of you that are new to the channel, just to give you a tiny little bit of background, my ex-husband was emotionally abusive. One of the ways that he was abusive to me was that he felt like because we were man and wife, that he had a right to my body. So I want you to understand, we are multifaceted beings. Of course, we have a physical body. We're used to that being the one that we think about because we can see it, we can touch it. But you also have an emotional body, a mental body, and a spiritual body. You are multifaceted. And if the body is the only thing that your partner can recognize or see value in, that's a huge red flag. If he sees you as just a body, it's pretty likely that he sees you as property. Now again, it's going to be subtle. There are some guys certainly that will be really direct, and they'll be like, I own you. You're mine. You belong to me. If you're not hearing language that clear and blatant, it might be hard to recognize that he sees you as property. But if he feels entitled to sex, if he feels like he has a right to it just because he's putting a roof over your head, that's showing that he sees you as property. And if he only recognizes the value of your body, not your mind, your heart, and your spirit, then that's also an indication that he sees you as something just to be owned, your property, because he doesn't see you as a multifaceted being with multiple dimensions. One thing that my husband would actually complain about to me, my ex would say, gosh, so many women wish that they were desired and loved by their husbands. Well, sure, but the only good he could see in me was my body. He would compliment me on how I looked. One of his nicknames for me was the Italian word for sexy. But when I told him I feel like the only good you can see in me is my body, he'd be like, no, I see more than that in you. You're a really good cook. And I was like, wow, that did not make that any better. So look for clues like that. Does he see you as a multidimensional person and love and admire multiple levels of you? Or are you a body, and is that body there for him so that he can feel better, so that he can fill the holes that he hasn't taken care of, the wounds that he hasn't dealt with of his own? Those are some of the things to look for. There's multiple tactics in emotional abuse, but those are some of the signs that shows that he sees you as property and not as a person. So just chew on that a little bit, give it some thought, and I'll see you guys later. Love you. Bye-bye.